Hello everyone, it's your friend, your boy, Jet Black the One Only, here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about August 22nd, 2019. I'm going to be talking about my day-to-day. Feel free to jump into that live chat, smash that like button, tell me how you're doing today. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have and bring up any discussion topics that you'd like to talk about on the stream. Today, I got a lot of work done. I've been making a lot of progress on my project for work. I also have heard news that I may or may not be working for my current employer for a little bit longer than was originally planned. I was supposed to work until September, but it seems like I may end up working until March, which would be pretty nice. But it hasn't been confirmed, so we'll see. Right now, I am just enjoying my day. I finished the story that I was working on yesterday, and I am almost done with today's story. I'm doing a thing where I write a superhero story once a day for Superpower Battles Volume 6. And this is going to be the last story in Volume 6. After that, I'm going to start work on Volume 7. I think I'm going to try and write a story a day Monday through Thursday, but then I'm not going to write a story a day on the weekend. Then Matt said, "You have left me with no choice." So this is where I guess Matt is going to spam me with messages that he sent last time that I didn't get a chance to read before. That's my prediction. I don't know if that's actually what Matt's about to do. Oh, also, so there's this thing called YouTube Studio, which is horrible, and it's actually the worst. Matt likes to say that things are the worst a lot. YouTube Studio is actually fat, hot booty cheeks, like incredible booty cheeks. It is insane. So, one second. YouTube changed the way that the creator page looks, and they moved everything around, so I don't really know how to use it anymore. The way that YouTube is set up, its creator dashboard now as YouTube Studio is so garbage. I understand some of the changes, and some of the other changes just don't make any sense. Matt said I have to be at writer's block by myself. Um, oh, Matt, are you still gonna do writer's block? That's actually really cool. That you're still like doing that. That's awesome. So did you go to writer's block out of habit to like hang out, and then realize like, oh snap, Jet like graduated. He's just not in college. Let's see. Godzilla said, "Hi Nick, yo Godzilla, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on this stream?" Yeah, Matt, I graduated in like May. I just I have a job. I don't know. Writer's block is cool, and I love talking with people about writing, but I don't know. I wish it was like a weekend thing. Now that I don't go to school there, I'd prefer to be able to do it like on a Sunday or something. Let's see. Yo, Godzilla, welcome to the stream. And Ryan, how's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy and any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Also, don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. Let's see. Ryan said, "Jet, I've read about this medical condition. I think you might have it. It's called biggest dickus in the Latin." Then Matt said, "I'm here right now. No, I came of my own volition. I don't write." So, what drew you to writer's block today? Because you're like, you came of your own volition, but you're not into writing. Do you like hearing like the different stories that other people are writing? I'm actually really glad that you went to writer's block. You used to go and just kind of sit in the back whenever I would go to writer's block, but I was never sure if you really were enjoying your time or not. Also, who all is there? Is Allison there? Is Eric there? Uh, it would be awesome. I recently received a text from Allison. Matt said, "I like bugging Allison." I see. Is she there? Also, is Eric there? Then Ryan said, "Maybe he is still sitting in the back." And then Matt said, "I never enjoyed my time." Interesting. Are you still sitting in the back, Matt? Or are you like sitting in the front? Matt said she is in the basement. Oh, in the basement of the Charger Union? Question mark. Also, Are they meeting in the Charger Union again? I remember when Writer's Block moved from being in the Charger Union to being in Shelby. I almost said the CTC, and I'm like, they're never in the CTC. Oh, that's cool. I'm glad that they went back to the Charger Union. Um, Shelby wasn't a horrible place to meet, but I liked the simplicity of just going upstairs in the Charger Union. Yo, Kells! Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? There's actually a ton of stuff we could talk about, to be honest. Mm. So, Spider Man may or may not be leaving the MCU. Sony might take those rights back and just start making Spider-Man movies on their own outside of the MCU. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. Earlier this week, I heard a song by JID. The song is called "Off the Zonkies." It's about how the rapper JID or Jid, I think it's JID. He is tired of seeing fellow rappers constantly talk about and get their lives caught up in drug abuse and the use of drugs. And it's an anti-drug song that doesn't take the side of drugs are wrong as much as look at what it can like do to your life, and there are just other things that we could be doing. And I actually really vibe with that song. I've listened to Off the Zoinks this week like a shit ton. It's really good. Ryan said it's a plot by Disney to get fans to complain at Sony for more money. It does seem like it's just a money hungry grab by Disney. I watched a video by Comic Storian where he talked about the Sony Marvel deal with Spider Man. And from what I can tell, the way that it was going before is that Disney was getting profit based off of like beginning box office sales. Not Sony, Disney was getting profit off of beginning box office sales. I think it's like 5% first day gross or something like that is the financial term for it. But essentially, Marvel's hoping that like the first day a Spider-Man movie comes out, that everybody goes to see it, and then off of the 5% of that first day grossing, Disney just rakes in a ton of money. I also heard that Sony was financing the movies 100% on their own. Like if a Spider-Man movie came out, like Spider-Man Homecoming, um, Sony is like doing all the financial stuff for it, and then Marvel sends over like Kevin Feige and a few other guys to help out. But Marvel's very hands off, but still is getting like a good portion of money, like a good portion of the money, like maybe like millions of dollars off of like the $1 billion that Spider-Man makes. You know what I mean? So Marvel's getting a ton of money from very little investment. And now Marvel's like, yo, what if we got half of all the money, but we also put in half of the work? So they take on half the financial load and also half of the production load. And Sony's like, we like getting $1 billion and not having to share it with you. And also, you guys have two more movies in your contract, so like, fuck off. And that's the current situation from what I can understand. Godzilla said Creeper, talking about like Minecraft Creeper. Then Kel said it would be really dumb for Sony to take Spider Man. I think it would be really dumb for Disney to give away Spider Man. Like, I see it the other way around. Disney should be trying their best to not lose the rights to Spider Man. Because all it takes is for Sony to be like, yeah, after this contract is over, just you're not getting them back. We're just gonna take Spider-Man and we're just gonna keep him because you guys tried to pull some bullshit. And then Marvel would be like, oh fuck, we don't want to lose Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like if anything, Disney has more to lose than Sony. Sony already did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it was actually a pretty solid movie. Like it wasn't a bad film at all. Some people even say Into the Spider-Verse is like one of the best Spider-Man movies that's come out. Like period. So if Sony is already kind of kicking ass with Spider-Man doing their own thing, and then they were like, yeah, Marvel, no, and they like take Spider-Man back from Marvel instead of doing this joint custody joint, then I don't see the downside for Sony. I see a hard downside for Marvel who has tried to put Spider-Man as an integral part of their cinematic universe. If anything, I think Disney's fucking up. Okay, where we at though? Godzilla said creeper on that Minecraft I see. Then Matt said sounds like politics. How so, Matt? Then Godzilla said creeper. Then Matt said say hi to Eric. Hey Eric, what's up? How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Matt probably hit the dislike button. If you could hit the like button, Eric, I'd truly appreciate it. Godzilla said creeper. He said I'm waiting for that. Aw man. What? Let's see. Ryan said there can be lots of politics involving movies. Then Matt said, "Say hi to Allison." Yo, Allison. How's it going? He said Allison is not happy about you not being here. I graduated. I'm just not on campus. We can hang out. I'm totally down to talk comics. By the way, Allison, Beth and I are dating, and I've gotten Beth into comics, and we've been reading a bunch of comics together. So we have another friend that we can talk about comics with. So I think it would be really cool for us to all hang out. Also, Beth and I will talk about original stories and original character ideas. We could hang out, talk about like our different stories and characters, like shoot the shit on comic books, even like read comic books. I feel like that'd be a really solid group hangout. And to not make it a weird third wheel situation, we could also have Eric hanging out with us, and Eric can also talk about like cool writing stuff, and we can show off all the different ideas that we've been had and like writing stuff. I feel like that would just be a really solid hangout. A matter of fact, Beth and I are going to be hanging out at Station Retro tomorrow, and I think it would be really cool if you guys came and joined us. I didn't ask Beth if I could invite you guys. At the same time, one, I don't think she'd mind, and two, Station Retro is a public place, so I don't think it'd be weird if you guys showed up and we all hung out. Let's see. Ryan said, but Jet is a real boy now. What am I, Pinocchio? Ryan said, I liked Into the Spider Verse more than any other Spider Man movie I've seen. And then Ryan said, I haven't seen Far From Home still. Far From Home isn't bad. I think Far From Home, the pacing is weird. I don't think the movie really picks up until the plot twist, which is kind of sad because it means that the beginning of the movie is a rather dull ride. Also, there's one scene that has some really bad CGI. There's like a CGI Peter Parker. Uh, don't CGI like real people who aren't in suits. It didn't look right at all. It wasn't even like how they CGI people to look older or younger. It's just like PlayStation 1 Peter Parker just jumping around. It's really weird. Again, I don't think Spider Man Far From Home is a bad movie. I just think the beginning is kind of ass. Let's see. Where we at though? A. A. Then Godzilla said Creeper. Aw man. I don't know what the reference is. Then Kel said, Jet, what's your opinion on 5 minutes later? What is 5 minutes later? Is my immediate response to that. I don't know what that is. Mm. Matt said you were late. Neither of them are listening. What do you mean I was late? You know I gotta read through the chat. Uh, then Godzilla said, "Hey, I have an idea for a homebrew D&D race. Oh, hit us up. That sounds like a cool discussion." Kel said 5 years later. What is 5 years later? Is it that fan comic that's about Ben 10 and Danny Phantom? That's created by Ink Tank, which used to be called fuck, I can't remember the name of the guy who became really famous because he talked shit about the. Oh, he was talking about how Ben 10 could beat Goku. And then there was a big Kuro the artist. Yeah, Kuro the artist eventually became Ink Tank. He's the guy who's responsible for the fan comic. There's the Danny Phantom Ben 10 crossover thing. Is that what you're talking about? Is that the thing that you're describing? Also, where we at though? Ryan said, "Hey Jet, what you and Allison have is a heterosocial relationship. Based on your earlier definition of a homosocial relationship from a previous vlog, I feel like I understand what that means." Godzilla said, "It's a little OP though. Feel free to tell us about it." Kel said, Jet's opinion on Far From Home is bad. It's a good movie. I never said it wasn't a good movie. I just feel like the pacing at the beginning is kind of, you know what I mean? And that it doesn't really pick up until the twist. I just feel like up until that point, the movie is kind of slow and boring. Let's see, where we at? Ryan says CGI Peter Parker sounds like that third Spider-Man cartoon. Ooh, did you know the CGI Spider-Man cartoon that came out in the 2000s, which was originally set up as if it was like a direct sequel to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. I thought that was a really interesting concept when I heard it, and I guess it's cool to look at that show as like an unofficial sequel to the Sam Raimi movies. But I think the show came out before Spider-Man 3. Like it either came out after Spider-Man 1 but before Spider-Man 2, or it came out after Spider-Man 1 or 2 and then before Spider-Man 3. All I know is that I think there's a Sam Raimi movie that contradicts the show that exists at some other point. It's kind of weird. It may not contradict the show, but the show wasn't made to fit within an additional movie that came out. It's some shit like that. Matt said, "You mean that Mysterio is the villain? Is that the twist, though, Matt?" Then Ryan said, "Spider-Man, the new animated series." Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Then Godzilla said, "Nick, you should look up Revenge by Captain Sparkles. It's a meme song." So is that where the creeper, oh man, thing come from? That thing comes from? Godzilla said, "My OP race is the Tarrasque-born." Is it like Dragonborn, but Tarrasque instead of dragons? Then Kel said, 5 years later is the Ben 10 Danny Phantom thing. Yeah, I was right. Then Godzilla said, "No one knows where they came from." The Tarrasque-born, he means. They have magic powers in them, making it that they can breathe elements, certain kinds. Oh, it just sounds like a Dragonborn, but a Tarrasque. Uh, Dragonborn also have the element breath thing. Kel said, "I think you just don't care about Peter Parker's normal life, which is fine." You are right that I don't really care about Peter Parker's normal life. That is true. That is quite factual. Let's see, Ryan said it follows the events of Spider-Man 1. Okay, thank you. I wasn't sure. I was pretty sure it came out after Spider-Man 1, but I wasn't sure um, if Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man 3 kind of fucked the continuity for the show or not. Also, did the show continue after Spider-Man 2 or after Spider-Man 3? And does the show continue to try to fit into the Sam Raimi movie continuity? Like, does Spider-Man 2 happen, and then suddenly Spider-Man's like, "Oh man, that's Spider-Man 2, that was crazy, Dr. Octopus." Like, do they try to fold it in? I honestly haven't watched a lot of Spider-Man the new animated series, but I'd be interested in doing so. I know it came out on MTV, and that it had more of like an adult edge to it. Godzilla says some can breathe acid, some can breathe fire, some can breathe lightning, and some can breathe a weird kind of water. And then he said, "Not a water, weird." He said basically just reskin Dragonborn. That's what it seemed like. I feel like you could just play a Dragonborn and just be like, "Hey DM, do you mind if it's not a Dragonborn? It's a Tarrasque-born. It will have the same qualities as a Dragonborn, but for the sake of aesthetic, he looks like a man Tarrasque rather than like a man dragon." And I think your DM would be like, "Go ahead, it's whatever. You can just do whatever you want." It doesn't seem like it'll break the game. It'll just be like a different lore. Let's see. Matt said Jet hates relatability. As I stated yesterday, I don't hate relatability. I just feel like I prefer stories that have interesting fights and twists and have to do with characters trying to overcome each other's wit rather than stories that focus solely on relatability. I think there's a good blend. I'm sure that you can have a solid mix of having relatable stories and having cool superheroes in epic fights that involve two characters trying to outsmart each other. But I feel like if I had to pick between the two, I would be like the fight. Like if I couldn't have both, I'd be like, give me that fight. Because if it's just the relatable stuff, I couldn't give a fuck. That's my opinion on that. Kellis said, answer the question. What's your opinion on 5 years later? So I haven't read it. The art looks cool. I don't know. I don't know what you expect. Uh, yeah, Kuro the artist seems to know his stuff about Ben 10. He has a big passion for it. I have no idea what his knowledge is on Danny Phantom. I actually don't think I've ever seen a Kuro the artist video on Danny Phantom other than maybe one about how Butch Hartman has like drawn designs for what Danny Phantom would look like in the future and stuff like that. I think I maybe saw a Kuro the artist video, next called Ink Tank video on that. But yeah, I don't know how much he knows about Danny Phantom. I don't know how he folds them into each other, like if they're supposed to be the same world or not. And I don't know how I feel about the idea of them maybe being the same world. I've seen, I believe, every episode of Danny Phantom, but I haven't actually seen every episode of Ben 10, counting all of the series. There's a good few of the reboot episodes I haven't seen. There are some Alien Force episodes I haven't seen. There's some Ultimate Alien episodes I haven't seen. I might have seen all of Omniverse. I'm not sure. Because a lot of Ben 10 I watched on TV, and because Ben 10 started getting weird time slots, it's just hard to tell. Also, I noticed Vanessa Brooks popped in. Yo, Vanessa Brooks, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about today? Let's see. Ryan said Jet has to stay quenched. Hey, you know it. Powerade White Cherry. I'm not getting paid. Let's see. Godzilla said, but I like Dragonborns and I like Tarask. So yeah, I think you can have both. Godzilla said the idea is kind of OP. So far it doesn't sound OP. So far it just sounds like a Dragonborn that looks like a Tarask human hybrid. Instead of just, being a Tarask human hybrid. Let's see, Ryan said, as of October 13, 2018, Viceland picked up the series for syndication, making it the first time the series has been aired on television in 15 years. Guest character Stan Lee as Frank Elson in the penultimate episode, Mind Games. His character appeared for one scene in the next episode, but did not have any dialogue except grunts. Listen to Stan Lee grunt in the penultimate episode of Spider-Man, the new animated series, now on Viceland. Let's see, Godzilla said also Terrasborns have tails. Okay. Sounds cool. Ryan said Jet relates only to people who have biggest dickers. And he says, does Peter Parker? Peter Pecker? And I feel like there's some pun potential there, even though I don't really fuck with the puns that hard. Then Ryan said, we need to check like Batman. So, Batman had Batman The Dark Knight Returns as like edgy, futuristic Batman's an old man storyline. And then Spider-Man had, I think it's called Spider-Man Dark Reign, which was Spider-Man's edgy, old man, dark comic, whatever. It's essentially a copy of the fucking Dark Knight Returns. If Spider-Man keeps with the trend of copying what Batman does, the trend of that one time and maybe not any other time, then maybe if we got to see Batman's dick in Batman Damned, we'll get to see Spider-Man's dick and Spider-Man Blessed if they try to do some weird copy. Maybe Spider-Man Cursed. I don't know. Whatever they would call the knockoff version for Spider-Man if they chose to do so. Matt said, but the live chat zipped hella hard. Let's see. Ryan said, but not Ryan. Matt said, but character development is more important than a one-off cool fight that means very little. I feel like you can get a good idea of a character's goals and motivations through a fight alone, without necessarily having a lot of build-up before the fight. A lot can be exposited during the fight without taking away from the pacing of the battle, and the conclusion of the fight that shows whoever wins getting whatever reward they get for winning and what they do with it, I feel like is a satisfying enough story on its own without also having to be like, and he's late for class and his aunt's sick and oh no, he's still having traumatic stress with Uncle Ben. Great power comes great responsibility. Oh, he's late for the bus, but he can web swing. How is he gonna deliver these pizzas? you know, I could care less about that. Godzilla says Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse reversed is Man Spider into the Manverse. I don't think. I mean, you know what? I understand where you're coming from. That there you go. Have you heard of Spider's Man? Spider's Man is an alternate universe Spider-Man that is made out of just a bunch of spiders. It's a bunch of spiders in a Spider-Man costume who believe they're Peter Parker. And they want to eat people, but they don't eat people because Peter Parker doesn't eat people. It's worth a Google. Vanessa Brooks said, hi. Hey. Don't forget to smash that like button. How's your day today? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Also, don't forget to ask those questions. Godzilla said, just pointing that out. Matt said, 5 years later isn't the same universe. Danny crosses into Ben's universe. Ooh, Matt, have you looked into 5 years later, my boy? You got those 5 years later facts coming at me? What's going on? Ryan said, wouldn't it be Into the Verse Man? Then Godzilla said, maybe. Maybe not. And then Ryan said, what was that impression? What do you mean, bruh? Oh, radical. Vanessa Brooks said, my day is good. I want to talk about Mortal Kombat DLC. I was shocked they added Joker. My dad said, oh my god. And when I saw Terminator, I said, oh my god. So let's talk about it. Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. So the characters that were announced, I'm going to try my best to remember all of them, though I only really care about 2 of them. We got Sindel announced. We got Spawn announced. We got Joker. We got Terminator. And maybe somebody else. I don't know. People are pissed because Sindel's going to come out a lot later than a lot of people expected. Oh, Nightwolf. Nightwolf. Yeah. There we go. That was the other one. But Sindel and Nightwolf. No, not Sindel. Nightwolf is already out, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and Shang Tsung. Yeah, there we go. I think I just remembered all of them. Shang Tsung is already out. I think Nightwolf is already out. I don't remember. Sindel, people are upset, is coming out later. Terminator was actually revealed in a leak, I believe. So I don't think anyone's really surprised by Terminator. Well, I mean, you were surprised by Terminator. I had heard about that earlier. I had heard someone said, yeah, but someone also said Ash Williams was going to be in it, and he's not, and people are disappointed. Spawn, I heard at the same time when someone was like, there's a leak and Spawn's going to be in it. I heard that, and I was like, that'd be really cool. I hope they do it. But I also was like, man, why isn't he in Injustice? I kind of hate that he's in Mortal Kombat 11 and not in Injustice, the superhero fighting game. But whatever, we're getting Spawn, and he looks not super muscly. Like, I'm used to seeing Spawn, I guess, look a little bit beefier than he looked. Or maybe that's just my memory playing tricks on me. Doesn't matter. Spawn is the one I'm hyped for. Terminator, I think, will be okay. And then my opinion... Oh, Joker. Joker's really controversial. People are like, oh man, why'd they put Joker in it? Joker's not even really that good in Injustice. He's just taking up a slot. People feel really weird when Mortal Kombat characters take up slots in Injustice, and it's the same way the other way around. People feel weird when DC characters take up slots in Mortal Kombat. It's like they both have their own games. You don't have to cross them over like that when we only get so many slots for characters. So it... also, Joker does have a weird design about him. He's different. He doesn't look like other versions of Joker. I mean, he doesn't look like popular versions of Joker that people want. That's a better way to describe it. People have compared the Joker design to a WWE custom character or like a Saints Row custom character or something. He looks like a member of the Joker's gang from Batman Beyond rather than like an actual Joker. Do I care? Not really, but I would have preferred that we had have actually gotten Ash Williams or somebody else. I actually really like it when we get horror movie characters into Mortal Kombat games. So I would have really appreciated if we got like Chucky or like Michael Myers or something like that. Maybe not Michael Myers, he's kind of boring. No offense to Halloween fans, but Chucky. I would have definitely really vibed with Chucky. Um, but yeah, that's my opinion on the Mortal Kombat 11 DLC. Dozer said Mortal Kombat Joker looks stupid. He just looks like a regular ass dude with paint on his face. Yo, Dozer, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to do on stream? Hey, Ryan said Spider-Man can't afford to fall behind in the Dick reveal Cold War. I heard if we had the old public domain laws, Spider-Man would enter the public domain this year. Oh, that's interesting. Oh. When do you think Spider-Man will ever fall into the public domain? Because it seems like right now companies have a pretty good hold on their IPs. They can just be like, nah, I'm good. I'm keeping this. Kel said, y'all hype for Into the Spider-Verse 2, Attack of the Arachnophobes. So if they do Into the Spider-Verse 2, I actually would really like it if they did the storyline that was in Web Warriors. In Web Warriors, essentially a group of Spider-Men who got together in Spider-Verse were like, yeah, we're going to become essentially a multiversal police force of Spider-Men, and we're going to go around to different universes and protect them from different threats. But in the process, their technology that they use to go from world to world um, is more or less discovered by Electro in an alternate universe. And then Electro finds a way to essentially replicate the multiverse traveling technology, and through that, creates like an army of Electros. And then you end up having an army of Spider-Men fight an army of Electros across the multiverse. I think that would be a pretty badass movie. And I think the sequel would be called Spider-Man Web Warriors, or Spider-Verse 2 Web Warriors, or something along those lines. I don't know. Godzilla said, Bricks taste good. Don't ask. Then Vanessa Brooks said, Nightwolf, A. And then Godzilla's like, my brain cells. Then Ryan said, in Spider-Verse 3, we find out Noir has the biggest dickus. Nickus Cages. Ryan said, public domain will never happen as long as Disney wants to keep Mickey Mouse. I do feel like companies now are able to keep strong holds over their superhero characters. I'd be curious to see if we see any like modern day superheroes fall into the public domain when they're supposed to. Let's see. Godzilla said, "Hey guys, what's the latest meme?" That's a good question. Oh, there's a city in Germany that's offering $1 million to anyone who can prove that it doesn't exist. So I think that's interesting as a concept. Then Godzilla said, in the Nick multiverse. Oh, so you're like, what's the latest like vlog meme specifically? That's a good question. I'm not really sure if we've come around to any new memes recently. Have we? Then Kel said, genetic meme? Do 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 do. Let's see. What am I thinking about? Other than that German town thing. Excuse me. Oh, there's a weird headline that I saw on Reddit, and it was talking about this wizard school that got sued for like $70,000 for throwing a party. I know it sounds really stupid, but that was a headline from like yesterday. I'm gonna type in wizard school lawsuit into Google. Yeah, it's like the first thing that comes up. College of William and Mary settles lawsuit with Wizarding School over unpaid bills. Uh, Feel free to check that out if that's interesting. Let's see. Then Matt said Jet being bad is a meme. Matt being a hater, I guess, by that same stroke is a meme. Godzilla said, because I think we can do a lot with that accent. Okay. how do you do the Jet meme of how he's bad? And then Matt said, you call him bad and get ignored. I feel like that's not necessarily a meme. Also, I don't think I ignore Matt. Mm. Let's see. I feel like what Ryan just said isn't true. So now I want to look up German city prove doesn't exist. Okay, what's the name? What's the name of the city? Uh, mm. Then Godzilla said, "You were bad," and put a bunch of angry emojis. They said, "Did I do it right?" I think that's very cute. Then Matt said, "You don't take the complaints to heart." What do you mean? I consider what you're saying. Do 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 do. I just don't agree with it. Do 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 do. Oh, the city is called. I'm gonna butcher it. Bielefeld, and it's in Germany. Let's see. Ryan told us a little bit more about the other place that he was talking about. Kel said, if you had a time machine, what would you do? Assuming that you can both change the future and not create paradoxes. The M stands for Marmite. The fuck? Why do... Now I gotta Google what Marmite is. I could go back in time and Google Marmite, and then when you say it, I go, oh, yeast extract? The British food spread? Of course. Why didn't I think of that earlier? Mm. Matt said, no, you don't. Then you would change your views on occasion. Just because you complain all the time, Matt, doesn't mean that I will necessarily agree with your complaints. I listen to reason. If you like have a compelling argument, I feel like you could sway me. But I just feel like you don't. So then it doesn't. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Oh, I found a website that lets me more or less remove backgrounds from images for free. So I am gonna be doing a lot more picture editing, and you're about to see a bunch of fucking videos of me editing pictures. So yeah, stay tuned. That's coming. Let's see. Godzilla said, "Hey, would y'all like to see the worst story I ever made? The worst story you ever made? That's a big claim. What's it about?" Ryan said, "The Byfield or Bellafield or whatever it's called conspiracy is a satire of conspiracy theories that originated in 1993 in the German Usenet, which claims that the city of Bielefeld, Germany, does not exist." Then Matt said, "No argument is compelling enough to fet through a soundproof wall." That's, I don't know. I feel like whenever people argue, like, you're just stubborn, that's the equivalent of them saying, I couldn't convince you, and I'm frustrated about it. So instead of trying to reevaluate my argument and reasoning, I will simply blame you for me not being able to convince you of a point. Which I don't really get. Let's see. Ryan said the story goes that the city of Bielefeld, population of 336,352 as of December 2016, in the German state of North Rhine-Westphalia, does not actually exist. Oh, Kels, you asked me about a time machine. Let me hit you up with that time machine. So, one thing that I've been curious about is there was a ooh, yeah, there was a company called You Create Comics, and You Create Comics was like, hey, if you pay us money, then you can offer us a comic book idea. Like, you can submit your idea to us. Then we're gonna look through all of these different ideas and let people vote on what they think is the best idea. And then whatever gets the most votes, we'll give you $1 million and you'll get to make that comic a reality. So You Create Comics apparently did this at least once because I went to a comic book convention, and while I was there was a panel for a Civil War comic, and the guy who was there at the panel was like, "Yeah, thank you, You Create Comics. You guys helped me like achieve my dreams, and now my comic book's out there for the world to see, and I'm really happy about it." And at the time of that convention, You Create Comics was in like a weird legal bout. There was like another group called You Create, and I think they were fighting over the name. And You Create was trying to start their second run of their contest, where they're like, "Yeah, pay us some money, submit your idea. Whatever idea gets the most votes is what we're then going to support. We're gonna give it like $1 million, and we're gonna make that comic book happen." So You Create Comics has like a booth at the con. And I go up to the booth and I see this rad ass poster. I actually still have the poster up in my bedroom. And I'm like, "Ooh, I want that poster." And I go up and I grab the poster and they're like, "Hey, those posters are free, but only if you've submitted an idea to our website." And then submitting an idea to the website isn't free. So in my mind, I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Yeah, yeah, I did what I'm just gonna take this poster. It was good seeing you guys. Peace." Um, and then I later heard that You Create Comics stopped that contest. Like they didn't do the second run of the contest. But the reasoning I heard wasn't, "Oh, we got into legal troubles and we weren't able to do it because of the You Create Comics name." What I heard was nobody entered. Like for the second run of it, they just didn't, no one submitted any ideas. So it wasn't that like they couldn't do it, it's just that no one like participated. And the amount of money that would have been paid to submit an idea would have been maybe like $20 or something. Like it's a lot of money considering the fact that you can self-publish for free. But if it's true that they essentially would have taken any idea given because only one person would have submitted, and I could have just had any comic I wanted be published, not only be published, but I'd get $1 million to work on it, and this is like high school age Jet, then I just feel like with a time machine, I'd be like, "Yeah, nigga, just pay $20. Why not just give $20?" Even if for whatever reason they're like, "Oh well, we got sued and we weren't able to do the $1 million thing." Are you gonna miss $20? Is the difference between you don't give $20 and then you just never know, or you give $20 and then you learn what really happened, or you give $20 and they're like, "Surprise, you got $1 million and you got a comic book published straight out of high school." I feel like my life path just would have been really different if I had like a published comic book just out there in high school. I had already started self-publishing like really small stuff in high school. If I came straight out of high school with like a published comic book, like $1 million comic book deal or whatever, I think I would try to get into the industry. I don't know. I feel like I would have done different things, especially since I used to go to Dragon Con with my dad every year. I used to like meet and talk to all these different comic book creators. I just feel like if I also had my own comic out, I'd be like talking to them in a different way. It would be less of, "Ooh, I'm really interested in what you do, and I think it's cool, and I love asking questions and like getting more inside what it's like to be a comic creator." And I'd be coming from the perspective of like, "I'm a young up and comer. I already have a published book out. I'm trying to like see what I would need to do if I wanted to like go farther in the industry, already having a foot in the door." It just would have been a totally different thing. I just think my life path would have just been like shook really hard. I don't know if it necessarily would be for the better, but I do think it'd be very interesting to see. Okay, where we at though? Matt said, oh, sorry, Kells said, "Matt, you can't really change people's opinion with even really good arguments. People in general are naturally stubborn." I disagree with that sentiment. I feel like if you do have a pretty solid argument, unless the other person has a reason to be like, nope, I like disagree with your argument because of this point or that point, I don't know why they wouldn't be like, yeah, no, you're right. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why you wouldn't just be like, oh, you're right, if you couldn't find a flaw in the argument. Ryan said, rather, its existence is merely propagated by an entity known only as SIE, they in German, always in block capitals, which has conspired with the authorities to create the illusion of the city's existence. Godzilla said, look at the Amino to see the worst story ever. Huh. Interesting. Guys, make sure you check out that Amino to see Godzilla's worst story ever. Ryan said, if arguments don't work, then you need evidence. Then Shuri-chan retracted a message and then changed their name to Bacon Sugar Gamer. Hello! Yo, Bacon Sugar Gamer, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Ryan said, just like I needed that $20. It's not that when I was a kid that I couldn't have submitted an idea. It's just that I was like, why pay money to have the possibility of maybe getting $1 million comic book deal? You know what I mean? It's like a sweepstakes that requires a buy-in, even though there are plenty of free sweepstakes that exist that you can just do. Because in my mind, I was like, there would be like a ton of people trying to get their comic book published, and I would just be like a drop in a pond trying to get my book published. But I guess when I learned that the pond was empty and that they were accepting any drops, I was like, woo, I missed the boat on that, like really hard. Then Ryan said, needed. Then Bacon Trigger Gamer said, are you still do OC battle? Yeah, I'm totally down to still talk about who would win OC battles. Do you have a new OC, or do you want to pit your OC that you already presented to us in a battle against someone else's OC? I think that'd be pretty dope. Then Ryan said everyone else needed that $20. And then Bacon Sugar Gamer said, or it's over, LOL. But yeah, I'm down to do a who would win OC battle if you're down. And then Bacon Sugar Gamer said, I made a new blog on my OC. It sounds like multiple people are like, hit up that Amino. Hey, hey. And then I like how Bacon Sugar Gamer said 3 sentences. Do 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 do. Now, real quick, before I hit up your character, someone else also asked me to hit up the Amino, and it was your boy Godzilla. So Godzilla made a story called The Adventures of Your Mom and Nose 2, made by him and a friend. Daddy's scare thing came true, and evil boy Cam. The evil boy chased Daddy and your mom and Nose across the perk. Soon they hid in a bush. They met a boy Bob behind the bush. Hi, said Bob. Above is Bob. Bob made evil boy disappear and then flee away. They flew into a castle again. They learned another thing, and that they've been lied to last time. They went to the castle. No more school. There is too many shootings. What? That line threw me really hard. They eat wed waffles. Lick lick. They argue over the last waffle, so they made memes. Then they went back to their houses and they had fun. They were looking at memes and home and found a bad meme, so they worshipped it. The end. What on earth? So that was Godzilla's story, The Adventures of Your Mom and Nose 2, which I imagine is a sequel to The Adventures of Your Mom and Nose. And he says that's the worst story he ever wrote. It seems like quite the meme. The line about No more school threw me for a loop. Did not expect that. Ryan said, U.S. moves to abolish migrant custody limits so children can be detained indefinitely. Ryan bringing up random politics. Then Baker Sugar Gamer said, hmm, triggered. A. Triggered. A. Don't worry, Bacon Sugar Gamer, because we're about to check out your 3-sentence character. Also, I dig the art. Did you do the art yourself? Because it looks good. Her powers are strength enhancement, speed enhancement, and heart race. Heart race is a technique when she's in too much danger, and she slows time or stops time, depending on her fear. The more fear, the better the effect. Using enhancement for a long time will cause her to either get dizzy and faint for a few seconds, or even give her too much pain. So she only uses enhancement of 2 minutes, or if needed, 5 minutes. So she can only use it for about 2 to 5 minutes. So she can only use it for about 2 to 5 minutes. Okay? So she can enhance her strength and speed, and she's capable of slowing down or stopping time as she's afraid. Her slowing down and stopping time ability is only limited by her fear. And then her enhancement ability has a time limit on it. Godzilla said, by the way, your Mom and Nose is a book series. How many books are in the series? Also, my girlfriend just made it home safe, so I'm going to send her a message saying, I am glad you made it home safely. Let's see, Bacon Sugar Gamer said, let's see, who could she fight? Well, first, let's talk about who would be her natural stomp. So, in case you're not aware, a natural stomp is a character who essentially has the abilities that directly like counter your character and like the best possible way. So you have strength enhancement, speed enhancement, and heart race. So I would say that strength enhancement seems to be mainly an offensive power. Speed enhancement could be used for offense or defense, and heart race I would say could also be used for both. It's pretty versatile. Godzilla said it's a 6-book series. My goodness. And then Bacon Sugar Gamer said, oh no! Let's see. So we're going to talk about the direct counter character. Oh, I'm not logged in. I was trying to write about the direct counter character in the comment section on Amino. So, first off, let's talk about your time limit. So your character gets fatigued by their enhancement ability. So the longer they use it, the weaker they become. I feel like if an opponent had a power that essentially forces their opponent to lose control of their powers, and it also causes their opponent pain, then I think that would be a pretty hard cuck to your particular character. Because essentially what they could do is like, you no longer have control over your strength enhancement or speed enhancement abilities. So you're randomly just going to start going super fast, and you're randomly going to fluctuate between being strong and being weak. And when you want to turn it off, you won't necessarily be able to cut it off. So you won't be able to control how long you're using it or when you use it. So it kind of makes your powers more or less a little useless. And it also pains your character, which adds to the strain of the fatigue. So I would say that would be a pretty good counter to your character's power. Well, to 2 of your character's powers. So that ability summarized would be the ability to make an opponent lose control of their powers in such a way that it causes them extreme pain. And then that would be one ability of like the direct counter. Let's see. Also, Matt said, say hi to Allison and Eric. Yo, Allison and Eric, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Yo. Oh, Beth, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Would you guys be interested in doing a get-together at Station Retro? Beth and I are already going to hang out at Station Retro tomorrow on Friday. Would you guys, if Beth is okay with it, be down with joining us at Station Retro and we do like a group hangout where we talk about like our original characters and stories and comic books and stuff like that? I think that'd be dope. Also, uh, let's see. Then Beth said, "Who?" Uh, Allison and Eric are supposedly watching, so that's who I was referring to, Beth. I was talking about if you're down, Beth, for Allison and Eric to join us at Station Retro, and I made sure to mention if Beth's down. So I understand if you're not down for Station Retro with Eric and Allison tomorrow, if you're okay with it, and if they want to do it. Let's see, where we at? Bacon Sugar Gamer said I had to give her restrictions, and it's good that you gave her restrictions. I feel like for who would win OC battle, it makes sense to give your characters limitations and weaknesses. Right now, I'm just trying to see what would be the best characters to try and poke a hole in those limitations and weaknesses. Let's see. Ryan said a superpower that is to give people erectile dysfunction. Then Beth said, at Matt, I saw Eric today. Oh, ball in the school. Then Matt said, not Matt. Then Ryan said, Jet, can I come? Uh, Beth, would you be okay with Ryan coming by? Ryan seems hyped to hang out, and I actually would like to be able to hang out with Ryan if he's down. Let's see, and if you're down, of course. Let's see. Then Ryan said, Beth, can I come? And then Beth said, yes, Allison and Eric can join. She like specifically said Allison and Eric. She's, would you be down for Ryan? Then Beth said, what are Eric and Allison's usernames on here? I'm not sure. Currently, Matt is at UAH at a writer's block meeting with Eric and Allison, which is how Eric and Allison are seeing this transmission. Then Beth said, sure, Ryan, please come. The only rule is no politics. she's putting a lockdown on those conversation topics. And then Beth said, and Charlie is probably coming too. Oh, ballin'. Then Ryan said, I can sneak it in without you knowing. Then Beth said, Matt, poke Eric in my absence. Matt says he likes to attend writer's block to annoy Allison. So he has a different person that he's trying to annoy. Bacon Sugar Gamer said, so who could beat his character? And who can she beat? And who is evenly matched with her? So I think someone who could make her powers be outside of her control and also make her in pain would limit her strength enhancement and speed enhancement abilities. I guess I would also limit her heart race ability, because essentially it would be a power that makes other people's powers not work correctly. So I think that would be cool. So I think that would be dope. As like a counter to your person. Someone who they'd be evenly matched with, I think, is an interesting question. I feel like that's actually very difficult to determine. I know that your character is definitely better than the average person, so that's a good scale. I guess a better question for your OC, Bacon Sugar Gamer, would be name a character, right? And then I'll tell you whether or not I think your character would do well in a fight against another fictional character. Like, for example, if you were fighting like Goku with your abilities, um, I'd say your character is somewhat similar to Hit from Dragon Ball Super, but not quite. But I don't think your character is necessarily on the same level as Hit. And Goku's able to defeat Hit, who feels like a comparable character. So if Goku can beat Hit, then I imagine Goku could beat your character. Does that make sense? Like, it's easier to do like matchups than it is to just be like, so how strong is this character in general? It really depends on who they're fighting. Then Godzilla said, would you like to see the latest book? A character is there I would like you to make a counter character for. Well, when it comes to the character discussions, I prefer if we break down our characters into 3-sentence descriptions, just to make them easier to discuss. Beth said, I considered going to writer's block solely to steal snacks, but I had to take Liliana home. Understandable. Excuse me. Then Ryan said, in the inver erectile dysfunction power, we will call the ability biggest dickus. Oh, and then he meant to say inverse. Then Bacon Trigger Gamer said, Shuri will die. And then Bacon Sugar Gamer said, no, she won't die. um, Bacon Sugar Gamer, if you had to compare your character to another fictional character that you're aware of, what character do you think would have a comparable power level? Then Ryan said, read all the messages still in the 9 p.m. time before ending. Understandable. I think that's a reasonable request. Then Beth said, hashtag no politics tomorrow. Oh yeah, Ryan, are you down? To like, come on down to Station Retro. Tomorrow? Me and Beth are trying to meet up around 6:45 tomorrow, Station Retro. Then Bacon Sugar Gamer said, Gone Freaks. Ooh. So your character is as strong as Gone? That's pretty good. Let's see. Godzilla said, another bad story in the thing. Hey. Ryan said, I am down. Where is the station? And then Ryan said 6 a.m. 6:45 p.m. Station Retro is on Jordan Lane. I would highly recommend hitting up that Google. But yo, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding, 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 ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys. Chickadee.